Well, obviously, we're awfully excited to be in this position. Last night's game between LSU and Wake was an incredible game to watch from a fan's perspective. And, we're excited that we have the opportunity to play here. This has not been an easy road for us. Obviously, getting through the SEC schedule was not easy. Going through the losers bracket and the regionals, playing South Carolina in the Supers was very, very difficult. 3 one-run games out here. And now the season's going to end with 2 SEC teams playing against each other. And we didn't have an opportunity to play this year, so it should be a lot of fun.
Okay, we'll open up first for questions from the student athletes. And raise your hand, and we'll get a mic to you. Oh, well, you're in the back. Go for Howard.
Congratulations to the Florida Gators. This would be for Wyatt, BT, and for Josh. As just fans of college baseball, besides playing the game, your thoughts on what you like and admire about LSU and their style of play?
Wyatt, you start.
Yeah, I mean, LSU obviously is a very historically good program, and I mean, just like their lineup is very good, and it's one of the best in the country, and their pitching staff is also good. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense that we've matched up with them for this championship series, so we're all excited to get playing.
BT?
Yeah, like Wyatt said, I mean, LSU's a historically blue blood program in college baseball. They always have been. I feel like they always will be. Their program's in great hands right now with a great coach, Jay Johnson. They play with a lot of passion, a lot of fire. They feed off their crowd that they have. Every night when they play at home, and their crowd travels well when they play on the road. So, they definitely have the blueprint for a team that they have right now to play in the position they are right now. And, and I think that's why they're in the position they are.
Josh?
Yeah, to piggyback off of them, like BT said, they're coached really well, and they play with a lot of fire and intensity. And like Wyatt said, they got a really deep bullpen and a very deep lineup. So it's going to be very exciting to see, us against them in the championship for sure.
Okay, next question. Okay.
Michael Farrar with Berg Sports Network. Wyatt, does it make it a little bit more extra special because it's an SEC matchup and, the conference as a whole, whether it's college football, basketball, it just dominates college sports. For you as an athlete, does that excite you?
Yeah, it excites me a lot. I mean, being a part of the SEC we're the best conference in baseball, and I believe that all the way. So just matching up with them kind of makes sense for all the fans out there and everyone that knows baseball. So we're all excited to play.
Okay. Back here, Wilson.
Wilson Alexander from The Advocate for BT. Y'all have had an extra day maybe to scout some of LSU, I would imagine. What has you seen in this pitching staff, particularly down the stretch here, that has made them effective, and what are y'all going to have to do maybe approach-wise against them?
Well, I don't think they've done anything special, than what or anything different than what they've done all year long. I mean, they've really relied on their Friday guy in Skeens, and he's provided a lot of really good and effective innings for them down the stretch. He's done that here. Ty Floyd's a fantastic pitcher on Saturday, and they've looked to fill in on Sunday. So they've had a bunch of guys step up out of the pen that have different guys in different roles on Sundays, but they've pieced together, and that's why they're here. So we have had a whole year to scout them practically because it's a team that we like to watch. I mean, they play great baseball, and we're excited to play them.
Okay, Leah.
Leah Van, The Advocate in Baton Rouge. Wyatt, you and Dylan Cruz played on the collegiate national team last year. What do you think having this caliber of talent and matchup between the two of y'all does for college baseball as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think it means a lot for college baseball fans, not just us two, but all the talent on the field between the University of Florida and LSU. So, I mean, it's just a very exciting series to look forward to and to watch.
Okay, next question. Michael.
Michael Coblin, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge. For any player that wants to answer it, I guess we'll start with Josh, though. What do you like about your team right now? What do you take pride in that you feel like you guys are doing very well?
I've said this many times before, and I firmly believe it's how resilient we are as a team. No matter what the score is in the game, we always reiterate to attack. And be ready for anything that's that can possibly happen. And we've seen it time and time again that even when we're down, we come in the dugout and as long as we have the will to fight and the will to win, we put up good ABs and go out there and play clean defense so we can do anything. So, yeah, I mean, our resiliency is just off the charts, and we never give in no matter what the score is or, no matter what the situation is. We always try our best to just come out on top.
Okay. Have one here in the back.
Jake Rungholt, WCJB. You guys have won your last 8 games since that loss to Texas Tech. What role has momentum done for you as you've gone through your journey here in Omaha?
Why don't you start?
Yeah. Momentum means a lot. I mean, especially here in the College World Series where we've had 2 days in between playing. So being able to stick with that momentum and use that going into the next games means a lot to us as players and just the program overall.
Yeah, well, I think momentum can be separated into many, different ways. I think there's momentum within an inning, there's momentum within a game, and obviously momentum within a season. For us, it's been momentum throughout the postseason, as you said, and we're just feeding off it. I mean, every guy that goes out there has all the confidence in the world in themselves and the guys around them, and without that, you can't have success. So I think the fact that we do have those things is the reason why we've had that momentum and have had that success in the last 3 weeks, and yeah, we're just looking to keep it going.
Kevin?
I'm just curious for any of the players, how much more comfortable are you getting, playing in this ballpark now that you've played here 3 times, and the factor of that into this weekend?
What?
Yeah, that means a lot. I mean, getting more games in obviously helps, like just with your eyes, seeing everything, getting used to the crowd. But, I mean, going into Saturday, the crowd's going to be probably more than it has been all 3 games we've played. Just not the number of people, but the sound and the noises being made and stuff. So we're excited to play in this atmosphere, and we're ready to go.
BT?
Yeah, comfortability comes from experience. Not a lot of us have experienced this before, but the fact that, we have played 3 games now in 3 fantastic environments, says a lot about comfortability for us. And the fact that we got to be able to go watch these games at the park just as a fan, too. I think that plays a lot into us being comfortable at the park and, understanding what it looks like from their side as well, and not just, being on the field. So it's awesome. It's been a great experience, and I think we're getting super comfortable.
Josh?
Yeah, I'd say over the past 3 games, we've definitely grown more comfortable, especially with our practice days. The ones that we've had here, it's helped out a lot, from, outfielders getting fly ball reps in the outfield to infielders getting infield reps. So, it's been great to just kind of get familiar with the field over this time period, and we're just, very excited to get ready to go.
Matt Tallery from World Baseball Network, BT. How does it feel to have guys like Caglione, Waldrop, and Sprout just fill in your rotation throughout the course of the season to get to the best of 3 championship series?
Well, yeah, it's awesome. I think for, anybody that really has seen a championship team play before, you see 3 good guys starting on the mound Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you guys, that team has 2 middle guys that can fill in for middle innings, then you have a guy at the end to close it. Sully said that many times. And I think, outside of a few teams, I think majority of championship teams have that. So the fact that we have the blueprint for what a championship team looks like on the pitching staff and on the mound every day it says a lot. So it's been awesome to see him throw this year.
Ryan?
Ryan McGee, ESPN. This is for all 3 of you guys, but BT, I'll start with you because you just said sitting in the stands and enjoying the series. Those of us that have been here for a long time are trying to remember a better College World Series than this one has been. Have you guys had a sense of, the games you've been in, the games you've watched last night, a sense of have you had a chance to just be a fan? It's been so entertaining?
Yeah, I said it earlier. This week has gone by so fast. Like I talked to, our radio guy, and he's like, we were in Kentucky and then Hoover, and it felt like an eternity. We were there for a month. Like, for me, it feels like a snap that we've been here because it's been a blast. This has been one of the coolest experiences of my life. But I'm just trying to soak it up as much as I can. Watching all the other games, watching all the other teams compete, as well as kind of looking back at our games and watching ourselves compete. It's been an awesome experience, and it's been super cool.
Josh?
Yeah, like he said, it's been very exciting. This whole World Series has just been very exciting to watch. There's been a lot of nail-biting games, a lot of anxious games, especially ones that we've played in. But, I think that's just the beauty of baseball. This World Series has definitely highlighted that anything can happen in this game. And, through the long 9 innings we play, you can never take an inning or a pitch off. So it's been very exciting. And, we're just very happy to be here and be in this position.
What?
Yeah, I don't think there's really like a moment in any one of the games that I probably won't forget as long as I play baseball. And just being able to look back on this experience means a lot to me. And then being able to see all the other games and just realize all the other players are probably feeling the same exact way. So it's been really exciting to watch and to play.
We're here.
Jacques Duce, WAP-TV in Baton Rouge. To any of the players, I was curious, did you see LSU's defense last night when they covered the bunt and threw it home? And from your own perspective, can you speak to practicing something over and over thousands of times and then coming up in such a huge spot and then executing?
Josh, you start.
Yeah, that play was huge. Trey Morgan's a very athletic first baseman, and, we've seen that they put him out there in the outfield quite a bit this year. And, like you said, practicing that play over and over again, it can develop some muscle memory. But in that moment, especially in that big of the game, I feel like it was just definitely the athleticism. He showed off his athleticism to charge very aggressively and, go all out and dive and make a clean, accurate throw to home plate. So it was very special to watch. And, like you said, doing that play over and over again in practice develops that muscle memory to help with that.
BT.
Yeah, I think Josh covered it all, really. He showed his true athleticism right there, making a play like that, to be able to be under control, keep his feet under him, and make a perfect toss. And, it goes unseen, but having a catcher look this way down the first base line, not knowing where the guy's sliding, be able to catch and tag at a guy running full speed and one of the biggest moments of his career is pretty special, too. So, yeah, it's a testament to how much they practice that.
What?
Yeah, when it comes to these really close ball games and just the level of talent that's playing, it's really those incredible plays on defense that get you to where you are and that allow you to move on to the next level and to the next game. So that's just kind of what I saw and just how it played out.
Okay, up here with Matt.
Nick Del Torre, Gators Online. BT, how much have you, Sully, and Kopp looked at this LSU lineup, and do you see any similarities to your lineup just with the power numbers, RBI guys that they have top to bottom?
Yeah, like I said before, we've really watched LSU all year long because you like to watch good teams that play baseball the right way and that have a lot of good talent, a lot of good players in their lineup. It's hard not to watch a team like that, but they have a lot of guys that have come back from last year, so we know a lot about them. But yeah, we've done a lot of in-depth research on these guys and what it's going to take necessary to go through a very, very potent lineup like theirs, and we'll see how it plays out this weekend.
Okay, Michael.
For all 3 players, I'm just curious, the amount of rest that you guys have had compared to a team like LSU, how beneficial do you feel it can be to get off your feet?
What?
Yeah, it's very beneficial, especially when it comes to the pitching side of things. Really, we've only played 3 games here, so it seems like we've played a lot, but, we haven't played as much as you kind of think. So we're all rested up, and we're all ready to go, so we're excited.
BT?
Well, I think rest is huge when you're on game 65 or 60-something in a season. Rest is huge. People kind of see it as if, they have a day off and the team's playing, they're going to be more ready to play. It's like we've played 60-something games. I think we know how to get our bodies ready to play every day. It's just a matter of going out there and playing our best ball when it matters. So, rest day is huge, especially for pitching, like Wyatt said.
Josh?
Yeah, they hit it on the head. Rest is very important for us, and, especially for the pitching side. Make sure all of our arms are, well enough to compete for the weekend. And like BT said, this is game like 65, so we all are pretty aware of how we need to prepare our bodies for this. And, once again, to reiterate what Wyatt said, we're just very excited to get going.
Okay, back over in the back here. Yeah.
Ellie French, KTV in Omaha. I'm just wondering if you guys have thought about the coincidence of you guys being back in the national championship first time since 2017. LSU, obviously, too, you guys playing each other. Just kind of speak on just the coincidence of that.
Josh?
Yeah, I can't say I didn't think about that. Once we won the game against TCU and, just seeing LSU win that first game against Wake Forest, I definitely thought that it could be that way, and it's very, very interesting to see it play out the way it did. So I think it's just very exciting, and it's kind of cool for Sully and Mike Rivera to kind of relive that once again. So I mean, we're just very excited to be a part of that, and just really, really excited to get this thing going.
BT.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a coincidence, but yeah, it really is just two heavyweight programs that have really put in the work, done all the process necessary to get the right players to their programs, to be able to be in a position like this, to have, specifically for us to have Mike Rivera back on our team and bring those experiences for us and help us throughout. This season hasn't gone unseen with us, but maybe have gone unseen for other people. But LSU has done the exact same thing. They've brought in the right players necessary to be back here, and it's just a testament to two really good programs that have put in the work necessary to be back in this spot.
What?
Yeah, I mean, like BT said, it's just two really good programs just in the recently and just in the past meeting up here in the College World Series. So it's cool that we're playing the same two teams are playing again, but at the same time, it's just kind of we both expected to be here and be in this moment. So we're both excited, I'm sure.
Okay, Matt, this will be our last question for the players.
Matt Towery from World Baseball Network. What does it mean to have a guy like Michael Robertson come into the game in the last inning a few days ago and make such a spectacular play to punch the ticket into the National Championship Series?
Yeah, I mean, that means everything, really, and it's kind of just a testament to our team and just how we have guys that can come off the bench at any time and make a play or get a big hit, lay a bunt down, do anything, really. I mean, he's been our center fielder for the majority of the year. So, I mean, he could have been just not ready to play or anything, but he came in ready to play and did his job.
Okay. Guys, thank you.
Yep.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Josh will be back on the podium. He lives on the podium.
Yeah,
Thanks, sir.
it's a good thing.
Thank you, guys. Okay, we'll open it up now for questions for Sully. And we'll start with Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, Gainesville Sun. Coach, I'm just curious about the uniqueness of this facing an SEC team that you really haven't played all season, and the players have talked about watching them, but what goes into the scout and so forth, and facing a team that, obviously is in your conference, but this is the first time you're facing them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's some similarities, but we haven't played them, obviously, in a year since last year. But, the scouting report questions that have been asked, we really haven't done a whole lot yet. I mean, literally in the hotel, you've got your bracket, you have, TCU, you have Oral Roberts, you have Virginia, and then over here, literally, you have LSU from last year's notes and 3 empty folders because we didn't know who we were going to play and waste time or energy on something that might not happen. So we'll get together as a staff after we practice today and start going over all the things that we need to go over. But at the end of the day, we are who we are, and we're going to focus on what we need to do from our side to be successful. Sure, there's going to be some things that we're going to have to, prepare for, but we'll spend some time later on today with them.
Okay. Yep. Mike.
Coach, just Nick Del Torre, Gators Online. You mentioned previous to the tournament starting that you've had a different kind of appreciation for it. Just what has this journey with this team been like for you this season, 60-something games in, and then to still be one of the last 2 teams playing baseball right now?
Well, really, it's really not the time to really think about it. It's hard to sit back and reflect right now. We've got an opportunity to win a national championship, and that's really my focus right now on the staff right now. It's like to put our players in position to be as successful as they can be. If I rambled on and on about how I felt about it at this point, I wouldn't be giving you the right answer. You asked me this question a week from now or 2 weeks from now, I'll probably be giving you a better answer and reflect back. But right now, I think we're all focused on what's ahead of us the next couple of days, and hopefully things will go the way we want them to.
Get back over here.
Hi, Coach Jacques Doucet, WAFB in Baton Rouge. In 2017, you won both games, won the national championship, obviously. But do you remember kind of purple and gold taking over the stands in terms of the crowd? And are there some aspects of this that will feel like a road game, do you think?
No, I do remember, of course. I mean, I remember, what it was like. I think that's one of the things that I will touch on probably tomorrow at some point. The other thing that we have, that could be helpful is Michael Rivera, who's our catcher on that team. He's now back getting his degree, and he's our first base coach, and he lived it. So, the bottom line is there's not one person in the stands that's going to make one pitch or have one at bat. It comes down to us executing. It comes down to LSU executing. We played in some really tough environments in this league, and our guys should be used to it by this point. And I would hope that, the play of the game is what's important. And like I said, there's not one person in the stands that's going to make a pitch or have an at bat. So we just got to play the game.
Okay, Michael.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ in Baton Rouge. When I was hearing Josh's answer about resiliency, it really, made me think that these two teams are a lot more similar than they are different, I guess. What are your initial thoughts of LSU?
Yeah, I think initially they were identified by their offense, and rightfully so. They got some star power in their lineup. I think our team was the same way. Obviously, they had Skeens, who has had arguably the best season in the history of college baseball. But yet we've got Sproat, who came back to school, and we have, Hurston, of course, and Jack. So I think the biggest similarity that I see just from the outside looking in is the improvement with their bullpen over the course of the year, and I think the same could be said about us as well.
Okay, next question. Okay.
Jacob Brenner, 24/7 Sports. Just with a lineup like theirs that is so potent, just what goes into beating a team like that?
Honestly, it comes down to execution. I mean, you could probably ask them the same. I mean, a lot of it comes down to how the wind's blowing. A leadoff walk to start the sixth can change the whole complexion of the game. How you play defense. One error at the wrong time can change the whole complexion of the game. I think we can get caught up in scouting reports and that type of thing, but Brandon still has to pitch off his strengths regardless. Now, of course, you have a plan, but the plan in the big picture of things in a short series like this is execution. And how many times can you get the leadoff hitter out over the course of 9 innings to stay out of an inning where you give up 2 or 3 runs? So, yeah, I'm more concerned about what we do well and try to do it to the best of our ability rather than what the other team does well. Of course, there's going to be some aspects you have to coach them up on, but if your team plays really well, you got a really good chance to win. If your team doesn't, then you got a really good chance not to win. So, yeah, and I think getting them in the right frame of mind, going back to the original question about the crowd and all that stuff, I think that's going to be important for our guys to understand that and accept that and understand it. It's going to be a really good atmosphere, and we could use it to our advantage or not use it to our advantage. And the 17 team figured out a way to use it to their advantage. So that's about it.
Okay, Clinton.
Clinton Yates, ESPN. Kevin, do you mind telling me a little bit about what you think about Trey Morgan, not just from that particular play last night, but in general from a versatility and a competitiveness standpoint for LSU?
Yeah, I think I've said enough of Trey. I'm ready for Trey to move on to the next level. Yeah, when they moved him to the outfield, I was always like, this guy is probably by far the best defensive first baseman in our league. But that kind of just shows the versatility that he has. That was an incredible play last night. It's a play that we work on as well, but it's a gamble, right? Because if they don't bunt, you leave first base unoccupied, and guy first can steal. And if he doesn't, bunt, then you put your first baseman in a really tough position. But they gambled. They executed perfectly. He's competitive at the plate. He hates to strike out. I know that. He's up there to swing the bat. He's an emotional player, and I think the other players feed off of it. He's a really good baseball player, And like I said, he's got a couple more games, and he's moving on to the next level. They got to figure out the next first baseman next year. And that's their problem, not mine.
Leah.
Leah Van, Baton Rouge Advocate. I was just wondering if you could speak to just the talent across these two teams in this matchup, multiple first and second round picks for this year and next year's drafts. I mean, what does that say about the game itself and college baseball?
I think you could say that across the board. It just isn't just a Florida LSU thing. I think you just look at the level of talent throughout all of college baseball. I mean, there's games you play on a Tuesday night, and all of a sudden you see some freshman run out there on the mound in a midweek game, and you're going, man, I like to see what this guy looks like in 3 years. I mean, it's across the board. So I think the college game is in as good a shape as it's ever been. I think it's evolved into it's a real developmental piece to move to the next level, and it's increasingly gotten better and better from that standpoint. But I think college baseball it's never been better from a talent standpoint, honestly.
Okay. Jacob?
Jacob Brenner, 24/7 Sports. The days off that you guys have been able to have, how critical is that, just especially for your bullpen, to be able to keep those guys rested and coming into this difficult series?
Yeah, I think from a bullpen standpoint, it's been helpful. But honestly, from my standpoint, it puts me a little bit on edge, honestly, because what you don't want your players to do with off days is lose their edge. And there have been plenty of teams that played on that Thursday game and went on to win this last series. So it's really our responsibility is to keep our players on edge, and that's going to be a huge message. The days off are fine, but you have to be able to turn the switch back on, because LSU's now coming off an incredible win last night, an emotional win that will help them, be at the highest level, as far as feeling good about themselves going into Saturday's game, right? And we've sat back and watched. So, yes, the days off have been good from a bullpen standpoint, but you also got to guard against losing that edge, and that falls on us to make sure our guys are ready to play.
Okay, Michael?
I'm just curious your thoughts on your team's offense, specifically as it relates to running the ball out of here under these conditions. Well, it's a give and take, really. I mean, usually look at the weather report days in advance and want to know if it's going to rain or not, but the wind has played a huge factor, especially on Wednesday when we played TCU. I could sense, even in their dugout, it was suffocating. It's like every ball was hitting the air was an out. And at this stage of the game, it's nice to hit home runs. And it's a very interesting question, because when you put your team together to win the SEC, it's built on power pitching and power hitting. And in order to win the SEC, that gives you an opportunity to host regionals and super regionals and puts you in a position to get here. Now you get out here, and it's like it's a totally different game. So in the back of your mind, so when we've come out here and we haven't been as successful as we had hoped, you have to have the ability to manufacture runs in different ways. How you score runs the majority of the year with a 3-run homer and that type of thing in our league, you have to prepare yourself for this too. And I think that's the real intriguing thing about playing out here.
We have time for one more question, and give it to Kevin.
I guess on, Kevin Brockway, Gainesville Sun, I guess kind of piggybacking off that, the top of the lineup, Cade, how much are you hoping maybe that hit gets him going a little bit, and the importance of, maybe 1 through 3 to kind of get things started?
Yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, we're getting picked up by a bunch of other guys too. I think that's what good offenses do. Of course, your star players, they perform over the course of the year for the majority part of the time. But there are going to come times where other guys have to step up, and it's a collective group. When I mean that, I mean it by just not offensively, but like Ryan Slater coming in and getting 5 outs on Wednesday was huge, so we didn't have to go to Kate Fisher as early as we wanted to. Michael Robertson, when Shellnut and Ty Evans hit in the 7th, and their lineup, their spot in the lineup's probably not going to come back up. You can see Michael Robertson getting ready. You can see Richie getting ready. The guys know their roles. Yeah, and when Michael makes that catch, what an awesome story, because he played most of the year, but here he is getting loose in the dugout, knowing he's going to go out to center field because we had a 1-run lead. So, yeah, it's a collective group, but people have to pick each other up. I think sometimes we focus, okay, well, Cade's this for his last 20 at-bats, or, Jack is this, but, we still got, Luke Heyman, who picks him up, or Shellnut, who's had big at-bats. Colby Halter's had big at-bats. So, yeah, I would hope that they'd have the best games they possibly can over this next weekend. But at the same time, we've got 9 guys in the lineup that can contribute.
Thank you, Kevin. We're going to bring in Jay here, and y'all can have an arm wrestling contest for the